Well, welcome to another episode of the Business's Mission podcast. I am here with Matt, who is living in a South Asian island, and Matt and I got connected through a mutual friend who was traveling, a young man traveling, learning about the way God is using business to bless communities, and he said, "You got to meet this guy." So we connected on WhatsApp and got a conversation going. And a good guy. Really have enjoyed learning a bit about you. I still don't know you very well, but Matt, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. It was a blast talking to you already, getting to know a little bit about what you've done, obviously, but also what you're doing now.
Well, now I'm really focused, it seems like, on sort of telling the story and leveling the playing field, trying to see more people join in what we're doing, because it is something that God is using for really community transformation, life transformation, for blessing all over the world. And so, as you know, we were talking before the show, part of the subtitle of this, I would never say it, but part of the subtitle is, if this guy could do it, maybe you could do it. But it's a human thing, right? God is using humans to do this. And so our weaknesses and imperfections probably qualify us for being a part instead of disqualifying us. So Matt, give us some, and I'll say, just by way of opening to the audience, we're going to be very general in our conversation. Those of you who reading between the lines will say, "Okay, I understand why," and then we're gonna be very thoughtful and discreet, and still get the story. And so, if there's some pieces missing for some of you, you can ask me, and I'll do my best to fill it in. Just send a note, info@thirdpathinitiative.com. But most of you will understand exactly what we're doing and why we're talking about it in this way. So, Matt, tell us just a little bit of your journey. Kind of, how did God lead you into all of this understanding and to where you are? And just how did you get there?
Yeah, great question. Lots to unpack there, but I'll give the condensed version, because I'm not your typical 22-year-old, entering into the unknown and the terrifying aspects of living across the world and without life experience and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be 50 here soon. I've got 6 kids and 4 grandkids, and my life has been full already. But it has been since 2011. I kind of lost count, three full passports later from that first trip, really leading groups of men and women, humanitarian trips all over the world. My background is construction, and owning my own businesses has always been my thing, but being able to lead these construction groups, building all over the world, has just given me some really key experiences, right? It's not just that experience, but taking what we know, taking what we've been gifted with, and practical things that we have come to understand, and being able to use those all over the world has been absolutely phenomenal. So, that, again, to add those all up, over 100 trips, really, these humanitarian trips all over the world. It can be, schools, a lot of schools, places of worship and houses and things of that nature. That's just where I always seem to fit. It's where my gifts were being used all the time.
When you go there, Matt, it makes me think about my own background. My very first trip into the former Soviet Union, admittedly, was a trip out of curiosity. I had prayed for Russia and the Soviet Union for years. After it collapsed, I had the opportunity to go and do some business teaching, which is what I do for a living. And same thing. It's like, wow, it was kind of a Moses at the burning bush. What is in your hand? Well, what was in my hand was business, training and education. What's in your hand was construction. You used it. I think, I don't want to camp on and be Captain Obvious here, but I do think that's a fundamental of the message. Is it's not something you have to go learn. you already have it. So Matt, I'm just really curious, and your story is unique, obviously, because it's yours, but also it's becoming more common where people are understanding this. God has given me this ability, this knowledge. I could use it in a different way. So I'm curious to ask you, out of the 100 trips or so that you referenced, when did you begin to say, Lord, are you asking me to leave home and go and be kind of residential in this work? When did that begin to happen, and how did you handle it? Was it a yes, Lord, or was it like, are you kidding me? How was that?
That's a fantastic story that has fingerprints all over it. If you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
I think that question is always there. I think maybe that question was always being asked. It maybe just wasn't as direct and formal, so to speak. And so it did begin to wane where, after, a lot of these, repeatable trips, and sometimes, I was doing 8 to 12 trips a year at, and that's a lot, that's a lot of moving parts. And that's not my full-time job. Right. So, as those questions began to form and really, that desire as well, there was a very particular trip to Turkey that really changed everything for me. That story I love to tell, but really on two different continents, my wife and I both gave responses almost at the exact same time in different time zones, where we had written in our journals simultaneously, I say yes, and we actually didn't even know the question. We didn't know what that meant. We had no idea. We had no clue what did we just respond to, in a sense. And so, but it became a resounding yes. And so, on a trip here in 23. I was teaching we were coming to a local island, very local, and we were doing a full business presentation, and bringing all the business leaders together. It's kind of where I thrive. I had a coaching business as well, and when I ran the marketing piece, and so when I was doing the teaching on the marketing piece, it was just fascinating, made friends instantly, went out to lunches, dinners, really started kind of picking everyone's brains and adding, feedback. And I had a guy introduce a project to me on that island. And it was fascinating. Started to kind of look at numbers, look at drawings. I'm used to looking at international blueprints. Confusing to most, but made sense to me. And so, man, when I was on the plane on the way back from that trip, there was three things that I just couldn't really believe had all come crashing together at the same time, and that was people, people that I had come to love and been working with, and this project, and the place. The place is amazing. It is truly breathtaking, but to have all of it, what it felt like, everything that I had been doing in my life and preparing for, like, it just seemed to all come together at that moment. Like, God's going to use everything that I'm currently, my ability is project management and in construction and with finances. So, my business at home, we run a flip business. We have private money lenders, or about $6 million in a pool that we are able to use. So I manage that fund. I manage all of our projects there. And it's like all of a sudden this all came together to use all of that experience, in this singular project that we're now building.
I love that you're, and it's funny. I had the exact same experience. I kept saying, Lord, I've been trained theologically, pastor for 15 years, went into business, very successful, learned a ton. And at about year 22 or 3 in that experience, I kept thinking, Lord, how's this fit together? You don't waste things. And that's what you just said. Everything he taught you was for now, right? It wasn't like, we'll set that aside. It was for now, which, by the way, you're still running your business, your flip business, right? That still is ongoing. Matt, there's a method to my madness in this question, but how old were you when God first began to say, okay, this is what I want now?
I would say it was in it was in my 40s. So this wasn't 20s, this wasn't 30s, this was in my 40s, where this what consider, hey, late in life, you're building something. I don't know for what, but you're building something for an end somewhere, right? You're gearing up towards, hey, what does the last part of this look like?
Hi, this is Mike again, and I want to just chat with you briefly about a new course available on thirdpathinitiative.com. Very, very excited about this course. It's called How to Raise Capital for Your Business's Mission Company. It is probably the single most in-demand course we've ever created, and it comes in a direct response to conversations and surveys we've done among our existing students. What do you most need? This was overwhelmingly the course that people wanted the most. They wanted to hear about, what do you do? It's the great challenge. And so this course it's very short, it's very simple, but it walks you through how to understand the capital markets, what you need to understand and be prepared for before you begin to seek funding, how to put together a pitch, who to go to, and how to manage that funding after you get it. And so we've brought together a panel of experts from people in the financial field, from people in the business's mission field, from people in entrepreneurial field. Very, very excited. And it is available now. It is live on thirdpathinitiative.com/all-courses. Check it out. I hope you'll enjoy it. We really enjoyed making it.
And the reason I ask that question is, again, our audience, there are many people that listen to this and think, well, I'm past that. I guess I'll just give money. It's like, maybe you're not past that. Maybe you're primed for it. You never know. And that's the beauty of what God is doing. All right. So I'm curious to hear your time there, because you've already been there. You moved over, you began to do business, you began to build relationships, and you'd already developed some relationships. You said you loved the people, you knew them. What were the 2 or 3 most challenging things that you faced in the transition from, short-term trip guy to, I live here now and I have a business here now?
Yep. It probably comes down to, and I think mine aren't going to be as drastic or severe, just because, I can bring some more life experience to the mix. But when it came into, cultural differences, especially for me, the way I do business and the way I'm successful, and the way that I am now having to deal with others, that was really something really completely unexpected. On my part, as far as the problems I didn't anticipate, right? Those are all the things that we wish we had that clarity with. But even dealing with the Asian culture, it's in the government, it's in the ministry, it's in the banking system. On a personal level, even having in the United States, I'd say, everything wraps up, the streets roll up, and, bedtime's, could be 8:30, 9 o'clock. Well, here, life begins at 9. You start getting calls at 10 o'clock to go out and meet. And, I've met with a team of attorneys at 10:30 in Gloria Jean's Coffee. And I'm wondering, what are you guys still doing in a business suit at 10:30 at night? And we're drinking coffee. But that's how business gets done. So.
It's funny, if you think about it. I mean, culture is everywhere. People are never aware of their own culture. That's the beauty of traveling and being in other places, as you become aware of their culture, which then makes you sensitive to your own. I suspect that for a lot of our listeners who are doing the same type of work you're doing, that has been and probably remains the greatest single challenge. I mean, there are financial challenges, there are, all kinds of oppositional challenges, but when it's all said and done, I think that's the common denominator. Is just not. I learned a long time ago. Somebody else's culture is not necessarily wrong. That's a tendency. We all think different is wrong, but it's just different, and it's the way they've done it for centuries sometimes. And you know what? They should keep doing it that way. There's no reason they should change their fundamental culture to suit me. That's not my purpose. I'm not there to change their culture. I'm there to bring encouragement and blessing and light wherever possible. So Matt, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just, I learned a long time ago. I think those lessons I began to start learning, and this was in the bush in Tanzania, when I had some really major confrontations working with contractors. And, I had to step aside after, it was a couple of different, one was Guatemala, one was in the bush. And I had to step back finally and say, you know what? I'm here. Everything has changed for me. I'm here to help. Okay. I'm here to assist. I am not here to take over. There's nothing I can do in 2 weeks here that's going to radically alter or change the way you do things. You've been generationally, this is the way you've always been doing it. I'm not here to show you a better way. Right. And so, yes, you have to adjust to what is already currently happening.
Yeah. And that's, I remember I learned a similar lesson, and we would always tell local people, local leaders in particular, like, look, we're here to work under your authority. We are not here to have you do what we say. We're here to serve you. We're here to listen to you, to learn from you. And I think that's a concept that's biblical. It's a humility thing, which is not natural to me. Well, it is natural thanks to the Spirit of God, but it's not my background. I'm the classic know-it-all. Let me tell you where you're wrong, and I'll fix you kind of guy. All right. So, what can you tell us about your business? I know that this is where it's going to get a little gray for our audience, but tell us a little bit of what you're comfortable telling us about it, what you're doing, and where you see the impact in the community.
Yeah, thanks. This is so we are building a for most listeners to understand, tourist hotel. In terms, it's not if you kind of want to break things out into understanding a resort versus a guest house experience versus a tourist hotel. So that's what we are building, and we actually just completed the full concrete structure. We have our 4 slabs up already. And so it'll be 36 rooms in the end that we will have. We have a soft opening coming this December already, and the beauty of also running my flip business. I'm a real estate investor in the States, and the beauty of having that at the same time going hand in hand is just what massive credibility it has brought me. Not only with just people here, but that see my Instagram loaded up with what I'm doing at home, but it gives me relevance and shows them that, hey, look, this is what this guy does. He's been in real estate and development his whole life. And so it gives me that credibility needed at the table, because I'm an outsider, I'm an expat, I'm a foreign direct investment holder, I am a shareholder. So I have some respect there already. But then I can show them on the other side, hey, now you can see actually what I do as well, because I don't have this guest house operational yet, but this is what I do have running, and it's very successful. And so I my feet are in both worlds in that space.
Huge point you're making, Matt. Huge point that credibility, in some cultures they'll call it identity, is vital. If you come in, you show up, you got no roots, no visible means of financial support, no background in what you say you're doing. It's like, who would not be suspicious of that? I would, if it happened in my neighborhood. But but you're the real deal. And I know I had the same thing happen. I was working in Central Asia, and I was talking to a group of village elders about coming in and doing business development in their community, and they said, well, yeah, we'll think about it. You go away and we'll let you know. So I said, okay, fine. Well, the first thing they did was go get on the internet and look at my website, which was a for real, for profit, very successful management consulting firm. And they called me back 2 days later, said, okay, you can work here. We know you're real. And I thought, I get that. I respect that. And so I think that's vital. Do you have local shareholders as well, partners in the work, or is it just you and the bank? What's the?
No, no, you have to have a local partner. You can't be here unless you're, some will say sponsored. Say if you just work for someone, you can get a job as an expat. And so many are seeking that route, and there's a lot lost there, looking for whatever you want to call it, creative access, or some kind of reason. But so I have a local shareholder partner, and we are even 50-50 partners, and love that man. We align, our core values align. We just connect on so many levels. We're actually the same age, been married the same number of years. We just married our daughters off last month. So it's a beautiful relationship of trust, deep trust, right? He's trusting me, I'm trusting him. And much respect is gained, and anything can be said. We can talk to each other about absolutely anything. And that part is means more than anything else that I could give.
It's such a right answer. And again, I want to ask you about how did he appear? How did this begin? Because again, many of our listeners are struggling with that very thing. They face the same. I need a partner. How do I get one that is what you just described? Faithful, trustworthy, open, aligned at the heart. I mean, how did you do that?
Yep. Mine was a little bit of an easier path, but I'll kind of add a couple of side notes to it. I get a lot of suspicious, young men here that ask me the same thing, locals, because they are also looking for, on the flip side, hey, how did your partner meet you? How do you meet an American? What are the chances of that in our lifetime? Because everybody here has a business they want to fund or, partner with. So, and on the other level, now there was a guy here already. There was only one other guy that I knew and that was aware of, and that was confirmed, that was here. And he was actually his partner already in a travel business. And so there was a, it was really a warm connection, not cold, that came in. But I think the underlying, to better answer the question for your viewers and subscribers and for you, is to say, look, I'm a yes guy, always have been. I operate out. Some people are built. One of their basic needs is comfort. I don't think comfort and courage can exist in the same sphere.
But you were talking about a lot of the young men in your community are wanting to know, how did he find you? How you felt God was saying, this is your man, because that's such a huge thing and a big thing. I mean, really important thing for our colleagues around the world.
So I had more of a, I wasn't out banging on doors looking for this, So I had just said, yeah, let me do that. That sounds scary and unique. Go teach a marketing, class on a local island to a bunch of small islands with local business entrepreneurs. So I just said, yeah, let's do that. Am I qualified for this? The lies we tell in our head all the time. I'm not qualified. There's no way I can do this. I'm just the guy that says, hey man, let's jump and figure it out on the way. And so in that, the only contact I had here already had this man as a partner in a travel business. And so it was more of a warm connection, a warm lead where we got together. And so I already had some level of trust to say, okay, you're partnered with this guy. Great. But I've been in business long enough to know that's not enough. But as I got to know this man and hear his heart and see how he interacted with his family and with his friends and hear his story, we got a lot of boat time, just started to see that, hey man, we've got some core values really connecting here. Maybe there's some major things that we'll eventually talk about, but on this level, this feels correct. I trust this because I trust other things in my life that I come to depend on every day, right? And so those are the key parts that everything felt well. And I'll tell you though, the one thing that really anchored me when we were actually getting in, after we had kind of made decisions and started to get into the nitty gritty, he made a statement early on where he said, "Hey, look, our investors are going to be the most important piece of all of this. So we will always take care of them before we take care of ourselves." And that was like music to my ears, because that is not the norm here. That is not what happens on a daily basis. There are many very opposite and alternate things happening, and most do not come back and invest twice. So, that's a problem.
It is a problem. So I'm going to ask you a sensitive question, and I'll let you answer it with whatever discretion you feel is wise. A lot of people looking at what you just said would say, but he's not family. And I of course, I'm not one who is saying that, but I know somebody's going to ask that question. I'm just curious, how do you think about it? How would you answer that? You probably have been asked somewhere in your circle. How do you think about it? How do you answer that?
It's interesting because I have not been asked that. And so, I find that a little surprising. It's funny because I was actually just reading that today. So that's an interesting part. But I'll tell you right here, when I'm already in a place that has no access, okay, where there's not been a story told yet, there is no connection. There's no road that leads there, where, there is one who hasn't been named.
Yep.
You tell me what are the options, Mike? Okay. Is there sovereignty in place that's operating that will give so much grace so that we can connect and have a relationship with people that we know their destinies are going to be impacted by our relationship? Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, good. That's a great answer. I know that there's a whole movement built around the man of peace concept. It's like, well, sometimes that's all you got, and sometimes that's the best thing you can have. And I will tell you from my own business experience, maybe yours is similar. I've lost money in dealing with non-family members. I've lost more money dealing with family members, or those who at least say they're in the family. So I personally think the people who take that one particular passage and try to apply it to business are barking up the wrong tree. I don't even think they're in the right context. But you're right. I mean, you're ultimately, it's a faith thing. It's a trust thing, and not in yourself and not in the guy, but in the one we follow. So,
yep. And that has just allowed, maybe I'm getting ahead, but that has allowed so many key relationships that just keep expanding and building and getting wider and wider. And those relationships, the depth of those becomes even greater. And so I am allowed to freely have conversations about anything with these deep relationships. This is a hospitality culture. Once you're in the door, there's people will defend you to their death, to make sure that you are not harmed. And so those are the kinds of relationships that are formed. And so in that context, I can talk about anything. And those key relationships will bridge to other key relationships. And I am hoping that this is something that transcends far beyond my years, so that this place is continually run and continually provides the opportunities for those relationships to keep occurring, and that there will be many who come in and out of this place, whether it's operational managers, F&B managers, hospitality, excursion, all of the staff. We'll have about 20 staff overall to begin, and those are key people that I'm also placing in this place as well.
Once you're sort of into the network, I guess, to use a Western term, but it's a very difficult way for Westerners to think, because we are so transactional. And so compartmentalized, and what I've seen in Asian culture, and you're clearly seeing, is that once you're kind of in a network, if you will, in a connection group, you're in, and you're not just in for business, you're in. We used to run across the term in Southeast Asia a lot. They would ask the question, "Whose roof are you under?" All right, and it wasn't a mafia term. I said, "Oh, that's mafia." I said, "No, it's whose protection, whose house are you in?" And once you're in the house, it's very biblical when you think about it, right? I mean, the son has free room of the house. The servant does not. And so once you're in the house, it's a beautiful thing. All right, so Matt, we're gosh, we could go. We need to talk more offline. We're not recording because there's a lot I want to learn. But for the sake of our audience, where are you going in the next few years? What do you see coming? What is the dream that you've got? What's the vision?
So for now, obviously, right on the plate right now, I don't have something to talk about until it's done and operational. So that is absolutely key. Once we're up and operational, we have created our branding is something that we have created for long-term success and also multiple successes. So something that's repeatable. So there are never going to be a shortage of projects here that are introduced. And now once I'm here and embedded in the culture, in the people, in the groups, the networks you're talking about, those things are already coming. But I'm a guy that likes to stay singularly focused on in this case, this project versus starting 5 of these at once, right? So in that, there already are opportunities that are shaping up where we will continue to maybe not develop, but now really more kind of an M&A, merger acquisition type with existing businesses that are running. So we will be able to duplicate our brand across several islands. And so that right now is kind of the short-term long-range goal within 5 years kind of a thing. But as an overall, this is our basis, this is our baby. We haven't allowed any kind of equity in this. It's all direct placement for the money. It's a loan term, you get paid back, you're out. But those people that have success like that always get excited about what's the next, right? So we'll start offering equity after that, but this is our baby. We're gonna hold this thing, nurture it, let it grow, and then after that, we'll consider other projects. But I want this to be, like I said before, something that is here, ours, long term. Whether it changes hands with management and with other opportunities that we may allow with ownership in the future, it's all still going to be in the family.
Yeah, so let's just look at the model, right? Of building your solid foundation, expanding wisely, not spreading yourself too thin too fast. I love the plan. And you're keeping the home base. The foundational company remains undiluted. Even though there might be, as you said, maybe equity partners in other locations down the road, the home base remains home base. And I think that's very wise. So, all right. So, Matt, last question for you, and it's going to be a very generic one. What advice would you have for listeners out there that are either doing this now, they're doing what you're doing in some form or fashion, or they're thinking about it. They think they're hearing hey, this is what I want you to do. What advice would you give them based on what you've been taught the last few years?
And I would, if I say this correctly, the field's too big, man. You're needed, you're necessary, and you don't have to wait for what I would describe as some kind of metaphor for the life of faith that we have turned into this word calling. I'll tell you right now, you're called. Let's go. Like, you need to put yourself in positions where I don't know if there's a specific if we say something like, oh, well, there's one specific person that God wants me to marry, or if there's one specific place that I'm supposed to be, well, you're not going to know or meet that person or go to those places and figure it out unless you go and put yourself in the situations where you can hear better. So you need to position yourself in a place where you're able to hear and that you have options. And you're not going to get options sitting at home wondering, I wonder if that could be me.
So I'm just going to, I agree with you 1,000%, brother. That is just, we're waiting around for the perfect moment instead of just doing what we were told to do. Right? I mean, the commission does not say if you're called. It just simply says do it and start doing it right where you are, or right where. Just go. Your marriage analogy is perfect. I mean, I do believe there is one person I'm supposed to marry, but I don't believe it's my job to figure that out. I think that's God's job. And so I'm gonna go with what's in front of me. And I think in terms of what you're doing, guys, if you got an open door, or even not even an open door, just engage. The Father is totally sufficient to guide every decision, every choice to get the ship to harbor where He wants it to be. Great advice, man. I love that. What a great way to end. I love it. For our audience, if you want to learn more, contact me directly, info@thirdpathinitiative.com. We'll figure out if a connection is warranted and how to proceed with that. I'm going to run a little interference on this, and we'll take it that way. The other thing is pray for Matt and his business. You guys know to do that, but in this case in particular, as he's describing a situation where it is a classic place where the inroads are not there. The road has not been paved. It is pretty darn close to virgin territory, and so please be in prayer for that. The point has gotten out. I think your heart has gotten out, and I thank you for that. I know it's going to be encouraging to people.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Fantastic.